I can't believe where I am right now. Look at this. Welcome to Antarctica. This is one of the most remote places on Earth with incredible scenery and wildlife, and I can't wait to share everything with you on what it's like getting here and what to do here. Getting to Antarctica is an exciting journey in itself, and the first step is to head to Ushuaia in Argentina. Once I landed at the airport, Polar Latitudes, which is the company I'm doing this trip with, picked me up and took me to spend a night at the Areca Hotel, which sits at the top of a mountain with beautiful views of Ushuaia and the port. So this is my bed right here, and if we come over here, that is amazing. I'm in awe. I also wonder if one of those is our ship. I don't know, maybe that one. This port is where we'll depart in the morning and start our trip to Antarctica. So we just finished eating dinner, which was delicious, and while we were eating, we felt the boat start moving. I feel like we're going pretty fast. We have left Ushuaia. You can see it over there in the distance. Bye. And the mountains look incredible. I'm so happy and so excited that we're finally on our way. This is my room, 421, and these are the keys. So here's a look at our room. We have the bathroom. I'm staying in a twin share room, and it's pretty spacious with lots of storage options, including a walk-in wardrobe. I'm also so excited we have a door out to the deck of the ship. We got little water bottles and little patches. We were also given a windproof jacket that you get to take home with you after the trip. This was a really nice memento that I get to keep forever. It took us 3 days by ship to reach Antarctica, and before you get there, you have to cross the infamous Drake Passage. It is day 2 on the ship today. We hit the Drake Passage last night. It woke both me and Courtney up because I'm sharing a room with Courtney at like 2 a.m. I think there must have been a really big swell that rocked the boat, and yeah, we both just woke up. Which is a 1,000 kilometer wide waterway which connects Atlantic and Pacific Oceans between the southernmost point of South America and the South Shetland Islands, and it is known for its extremely turbulent waters. According to the people who have done this trip quite a lot, like the people that are working here on the ship, this is only a 2 out of 10 when it comes to the Drake Passage, so it is apparently the Drake Lake, and it's still making me nauseous. Luckily, the water was completely calm once we reached Antarctica. We have officially made it to Antarctica. You can see icebergs and snow and land behind me. That is Antarctica. I can't believe we're finally here. So this morning we are going on our very first Zodiac cruise to land. So we're going to put our feet on Antarctica. There are 2 main activities that we do every day, which is either going on a Zodiac cruise or a Zodiac landing. We went on these excursions once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and if we had time and the weather permits, then we also had the chance to go out a 3rd time. So your days are really jam-packed with things to do. Zodiacs are these inflatable boats right here that fits around 10 people. We have an expedition leader on each boat who will drive us around and teach us about the wildlife and history of the places we're visiting.
And all of these glaciers that falls as snow, right? And that snow becomes more and more compacted, denser and denser.
All the leaders were so knowledgeable, and it was really interesting getting to learn so much about everything we were photographing and visiting. I like to bring my big bag when we go out on cruises because it's got a zipper right here in the back, and I don't have to carry it, so I can put in all the lenses that I want to have for the cruise. The cruises were absolutely amazing to sit back and relax, take in the scenery, and to get up closer to certain things like icebergs and animals. But I have to say, my favorite activity of each day has to be the landings, where you can get off the Zodiacs and onto land. We just landed in Antarctica. We are standing, literally standing on land, and we are doing a little walk right now. You can see our ship is just over there, and look at these incredible views. And there's icebergs. There's just icebergs floating in the water. We can't talk about landings without talking about what is probably the #1 reason to come to Antarctica, at least it is for me, which is the wildlife. There are quite a few animals to keep an eye out for in this continent, including several different species of birds, whales, seals, and of course, penguins. I was so focused on trying not to fall when I was walking down the hill that I didn't even realize there's 2 seals right there. I got a little photo on my 70-200 at 200 millimeters of this little one here, that one there. So he looks so comfy sleeping there. These are Weddell seals. I also saw a crab-eater seal and a fur seal while on land. Seals can be hard to spot sometimes.
I think it's been there the whole time, but that right there is a seal. I didn't even notice. I thought it was a rock.
The majority of our Zodiac landings involved visiting penguin colonies. One of those was a colony of Gen 2 penguins, and they are the sweetest looking penguins.
So this is our second Zodiac landing, and I think this is my favorite thing that we've done so far. There's like a huge colony behind me just there, and I've been recording some of the sounds that the penguin makes, like the callings. They sound so cool.
I was watching them collecting little pebbles, which they use to build a barrier between the mud and the babies to keep them warm and dry. It is so fascinating watching them. They spent a while deciding on which one is the perfect rock and then waddle over and add it to the pile. Sometimes the penguin on the nest won't like the rock and yell at the other penguin to go and find a different rock instead. It is very cute. We also had the chance to see a chinstrap penguin colony with fluffy baby penguins. They were so beautiful. One of my highlights with the penguins is seeing the way they waddle across land. With their little legs trekking across this big rocky terrain, it seems like they're going to have so much trouble getting around, but sure enough, they are surprisingly agile, hopping from rock to rock. When it's really snowy, they also flop down onto their bellies to slide downhill, usually to be able to get down to the ocean and clean off their muddy feathers by twisting around, bathing in the water. One of the most challenging ways to photograph the penguins is when they are porpoising. They are so fast when swimming in the water. Speaking of penguins getting around, something interesting I learned is there is such a thing as penguin highways. These are grooves in the snow carved out by the most used paths by penguins.
I can't cross any further. There's penguins in my way. I pretty much just have to wait for them to go because they have right of way. Oh, they're moving so I can continue. The colony here is crazy. It's just like a layer of penguins. Yay, I can go. The highway has been cleared.
You might be thinking, wow, it looks like there's a lot of photographers on board, and that's because I'm on board the Photo Voyager, which is a floating photography conference put together by Brendan. We had 10 photographers giving talks, including me. Mine was all about portraits, of course, and then about 90 photographer guests on board. We also spent our time on board giving editing one-on-one sessions, as well as helping out with camera tips while we were on excursions. It was super inspiring getting to experience this trip with so many like-minded and creative people. And don't worry, this video is an overview of what it's like traveling to Antarctica. I will also have 2 vlogs where I dive into the photography side of things and share some of our landings in more detail with you very, very soon.
We're going on our first Zodiac of the day. Today is a cruise and we're on the lookout for whales and penguins, and there's lots of birds here to photograph as well, and I've got my hood on because it's currently raining a little bit.
Another way to see different animals is through cruising.
Got a sighting of 2 minke whales.
This is how we would go and look out for whales. There are lots of humpback whales this time of year feeding in the waters of Antarctica. Then in May and July, we see them off the coast of New South Wales, which is where I live, migrating north to their breeding grounds.
So we were extremely lucky, and today while we were sailing, we had a group of orcas. They came right up to the boat. I was on my 70-200 with a 2x teleconverter, and I couldn't zoom out enough to get them in the frame. That's how close they were to the boat. It was incredible. It was so cool. They were having a lot of fun too. They were like jumping out of the water. I got some shots where the orca was like swimming upside down. I got some shots with the tails up in the air.
Out of nowhere, we spotted some penguins and we were all yelling at them to swim away from the orcas. They did escape safely. Since you can get closer to icebergs on a Zodiac cruise, you will find animals resting up here. We saw lots of Weddell seals and penguins. You also have the chance to spot animals which you weren't really planning on seeing. For example, on our first day out, we came across 2 Adelie penguins hanging out on an iceberg. These are beautiful penguins with stunning blue eyes, and they looked so picturesque up on that iceberg with the setting sun in the background too. I'm really happy we had the chance to see them. On our second last day, we came across a lonely emperor penguin hanging out on a huge iceberg in the thick snow. Side note, we later caught him on CCTV almost jumping onto our boat, which is crazy. Imagine if he had actually gotten on board. I also have to, of course, mention all the birds you can spot in Antarctica. Throughout the Drake Passage, you can be entertained watching the albatross and different kinds of petrels riding the winds behind the ship. Once you're in Antarctica, you can spot skua, gulls, the snowy sheathbill, shags, just to name a few. I spent a really long time watching this beautiful Arctic tern diving headfirst into the water again and again, catching its lunch. I want to take some photos out on the deck today, and I thought it'd be the perfect opportunity to share with you what I'm wearing when I go to the landings in Antarctica. The swells are pushing me such a. This is my first layer of clothing. I have 100% wool thermals. The next step is socks. So I've got these thinner wool socks, and I also layer up with a thicker pair of wool blend socks as well. Next we have the snow pants. After that, I've got a fleece that I put on top. In terms of shoes, I didn't have to stress too much because Polar Latitudes has provided us with waterproof knee-high boots. You also have to get them pressure washed every time you get off the boat, and you have to dip it in a solution and brush off any kind of rocks and things that get stuck in the crevices of these shoes. So I've been wearing this, but because we're staying on the boat, I'm going to be wearing my shoes instead. After that, I've got my insulated windproof and waterproof jacket. It's got a little bit of everything. It's got a hood too, which kept me covered when I got drenched in water yesterday on the Zodiac ride back to the boat, because the swells got bigger because the storm is coming in. Last but not least, I have to wear my windproof and waterproof jacket on top of this jacket. This one's got a hood as well, so I can double hood if I really feel like it, and then I'll put on a beanie and some sunglasses too. I would also recommend to wear sunscreen. Just because it's snowy doesn't mean the sun doesn't burn. Finally, you may have seen a blue thing that goes over here. That is my life jacket that I have to wear when we go onto the Zodiac. So I've got that layered on as well. And then on top of everything, my camera bag as well. And if you think, wow, that seems really heavy, it is, but they do keep me really warm. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. I look so frazzled. Anyway, I'm like burning up, so I'm gonna go outside and take some pictures. So let's talk about life on the boat. Today we have a really big day planned. It's currently, we get woken up at 7 a.m. With the speakers up here letting us know what the plans for the morning are, and breakfast is now being served at 7:30 in the morning.
This announcement is to let you know that lunch is served in the restaurant deck 2 and light lunch in the club on deck 4.
Those are the announcements that we get every day. So I like to come down here to the lobby because they've got some information of what's going on today, what the cruises are, what the landings are like, and what talks we're having as well. There's also the food menu. The food has been absolutely incredible on this trip, and I've been eating way too much, but you got it, right? Speaking of food, after we wake up, we have time for breakfast, then we head out for our first excursion of the day. When we are back on board the ship, we have lunch. I've been trying to eat outside on the deck every day because I want to look at these views for every second I can. While we are sitting out here, we can usually spot some whales too, so that's a bonus. Lunch is a choice between a buffet or a set menu. We usually head out for another excursion, then for dinner, they try to set up something special every night, and again, it's either a buffet or set menu. We had sushi night, pasta night, one day for dessert, we had a chocolate buffet. I could not speak more highly about the food on board. It was so good.
Thank you. Enjoy.
Hello.
Hi.
Put in here.
Oh, yes, please.
Open this one for you.
Today they had a whole pasta station set up. I had the ravioli, and you can like pick and choose what you wanted in your meal. And then there was a little dessert station too. I forgot to film, there was like a donut section. You get a donut with ice cream and some sprinkles, which one of the guys calls bling bling. I think the crew did such a fantastic job when it came to our whole itinerary and dealing with the weather that we had down in Antarctica as well. We found heaps of cool locations that were quite sheltered from the elements, which is amazing. And we did unfortunately have to leave one day early, but that means that we got to avoid the storm. So we have like this beautiful sunny weather, which I miss the sun so much, so I'm really thankful that it's nice and warm now. And if we didn't leave early, we would have missed those beautiful orcas that were swimming near the boat. That was the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I think it was like a group of 5 or 6 orcas. Yeah, we are almost back in Argentina. You can see land behind me. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked the photos. Thank you so much for watching. I make new videos every single week, so I'll see you all next time. Bye!